Coming to you live from Piedmont Park. This is a normal person broadcast. Now, who are you?
Podcast.
This is the normal person podcast. Now, who are you?
Some people act like normal's a four-letter word, but most of us want to be normal. To sit and talk for a bit about it, whatever it is. Are you okay today to press play? Is there any other way to be normal?
Look out, Marvel and DC. This week's episode will bring some fresh new faces to the superhero multiverse as we travel to Piedmont Park during a summer art festival and invite passing strangers to sit down with us and answer a seemingly simple question. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
My superpower would be super speed.
Freeze time. Yeah, I would like to freeze time.
Invisibility. Because, if you have super speed, you'd probably catch on fire.
Infinity. You could go and do and move wherever you want, through any universe, through any galaxy, or any planet.
To quote the late great Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility.
Are you afraid that I'm going to turn into some kind of criminal?
As you'll hear from this week's guests, it's not necessarily the superpower someone chooses that defines them, but rather what they choose to do with those powers. As always, I want to invite you, the listener, to think about how you would respond to this week's question. What superpower would you choose and why? Would you use that power for good or evil? And, most importantly, what would your trademark superhero name be? And now, to kick off this week's super-themed episode with a our first guest of the day is a third grader who, believe it or not, has already spent a lot of time in his life thinking about his answer to today's question. What are y'all's names?
Prince.
Prince?
Yes.
Isn't Prince?
I'm Shara.
Shiloh?
Yes.
What are y'all doing out here at Piedmont Park today?
To go to the park?
To go to the park?
Yeah.
Are y'all going
Yes.
over to the art festival?
I don't know.
Yes. Okay. So, Prince, let's get to know each other a little bit before I ask you the question, okay?
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're 8 years old. So I imagine you're in elementary school. What grade are you in?
I'm just now going into fourth.
Fourth grade. Tell me about what's fourth grade like these days?
I haven't really done any of the studies for fourth grade yet.
Oh, what's third grade like?
A lot of times tables.
Times tables?
Mostly just times tables.
How good are you at times tables?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? All right, what's 7 times 7?
Never mind.
Well, Prince, I feel like I've kind of gotten to know you a little bit, and you're out here, and I don't want to keep you too long since y'all are going to this art festival. So I'm going to ask you the question today, okay? If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
Invisibility? Okay.
Yeah, because, if you have super speed, if you use it, you'd probably catch on fire.
Oh,
So like invisibility.
Scientifically you would?
Yeah.
Okay. So invisibility, you were very quick to answer that. What do you think is the number one perk of invisibility?
Pranking people.
Pranking people?
Yep.
What would you do?
I'd probably, move a chair out, and then they'd think, a ghost lives in their house.
Do you ever think that ghosts aren't real and it's just people that are invisible?
No.
Okay. So pranking people, pulling chairs out, stuff like that. What else would you do with this power?
I would probably pick up stuff in front of people. That would just be
levitate?
fun.
Levitate?
Yeah, just,
But they couldn't see you.
yeah. That would be the best part about it.
Do you think there would be an advantage to being a kid, size-wise, with invisible powers, as opposed to an adult? You know what I mean? Do you think being invisible when you're a kid is better versus being an adult?
Nah, it's technically the same thing.
Oh, okay. It wouldn't change anything?
Nope.
You wouldn't do anything invisible at school?
Now that I think about it, I would. I definitely would.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you. I don't want you to get in trouble with your teachers. Okay?
I think he already knows what I'm thinking about.
So let me ask you just a few more quick questions. First one is, would you consider yourself a hero or a villain with this power? It sounds like you would want to prank people,
I mean,
get away with stuff. It kind of sounds more villainy.
I could do something heroic.
Like what?
When someone's like, in trouble or they're trying to get robbed or something, I could just go invisible and be like, tap their shoulder so they would run away.
Okay, cool.
Yo, what's up, homie?
Would you have a costume? I guess it doesn't matter because you're invisible.
It would be like I would have a blanket over my head, and then once they pull it off, it's just nothing there.
Oh, that's cool.
That would scare them away for sure.
Yeah. So it's like you wear the costume, but you're still invisible underneath the costume.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So wait, so that technically means people can feel me, but they can't see me.
Yeah. See, once you start thinking about it, it gets complicated really quickly. Okay, so you didn't answer my question, though. Well, actually, you did. You said more heroic, but would you consider yourself a hero or a villain?
I'd want to be a hero.
Good answer.
Heroes sometimes prank people.
Yeah, I mean, they're humans. They've got to let loose.
Yep.
I couldn't agree more with our new friend Prince. But if you're listening on Spotify, we'd love to know what you really think about what he's saying here. Should superheroes legally be allowed to play pranks in public? I mean, seriously. Anyways, if you thought invisibility was a cool superpower to kick off this week's episode, wait until you hear what our next guest has to say, which takes the very concept of invisibility to a whole new, technically smaller level.
Well, the whole time I'm drinking my wine and I'm walking, and I'm like, am I going to get arrested for drinking alcohol and walking? Because in New Orleans we can do that, but
Yeah.
I know there's many places we can't.
In downtown, you're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a law, but also, I don't know.
I already got one DUI. I don't need another one.
Ooh, do we want to talk about that?
No.
Okay. Okay, well, so you're from New Orleans, you're out here. Let's jump into the real question, the real
Okay.
meaty question, which is, I'm going to ask you this, but I really want you to think about this.
All right.
If you could have one superpower, just one power, what would it be and why?
Invisible or fly on the wall. Like, literally fly on the wall. People talk shit about people all the time. So, like, I would literally love to be a fly on the wall in some rooms.
That would be crazy. I
would love to hear conversations that people have about me when I'm not there.
Okay, so fly on the wall, we're just going to go down that path. But what's the first thing you would do, like hour one? You have the ability to turn into a fly.
I would listen to people's conversations.
Yeah, but
eavesdrop,
but
fly on the wall.
who's
like,
what's the first eavesdrop session?
Probably my parents.
Really?
Yes, I would want to know what my parents really think of me. And that would be number one, because I feel like they're so judgmental. And second would be my kid. Like, what the fuck do you really think of me?
Yeah.
And then third would be my boss.
Oh, yeah.
And work. Like, let me hear what my boss really think, or my coworkers. Let me hear what you really think about me, bitch. Like,
You know what the best part about this superpower would be? Is you could go into a room, like let's say your boss, and you could have a conversation and be like, all right, I'll see you later. And the second you turn the corner, you turn into a fly.
and they would never see you.
And they'd never see you. And then they're like, oh, thank God that is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so
I guess sometimes I feel like my boss really feels like that. I feel like I annoyed the out of my boss.
yeah, I think that's a universal feeling.
I thought you were supposed to ask me if I'm normal.
No.
Although I realized
just to get
way
people
after
in.
this interview that I never asked or got our friendly neighborhood fly on the wall's name, what I do want you to know, if you're out there listening, is that I do think you're a normal person and your superpower was incredible. Bravo. Now, if you can imagine, this week's question happened to draw in more kids than our topics usually do. And many of the K through 12 guests that I interviewed throughout the day had some very imaginative superpowers. However, of all the kid heroes I talked to throughout the recording, our next guest had to be one of my favorite answers and conversations of the entire day.
Anyways, so now we're on a podcast. So you are the guest for the next
Cool.
10 to 15 minutes.
This is cool.
So yeah, tell me what your name is.
Christian.
Christian, what are you doing out here today?
Okay, so my mom took me and her niece Alex, which is my cousin, and my friend's baby Malachi here to
to have fun, right?
Yeah.
It started raining. We went under shade, and then we got here, and now I'm here.
Okay.
So
How all in all, good or bad day so far?
good.
Okay,
so
good.
Far.
So before I ask you the question, I try to get to know people a little bit. So let's talk about you for a second. Are you what grade are you in? Fourth. Let's talk about that. Like, how's it going?
It's like really good
Oh, okay.
most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like?
Sometimes the teachers give you dojo points. Sometimes they don't, depending on how you act, and they give you recess depending on how you act.
Oh, okay.
My school's in DeKalb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So overall, good. You like it? Good experience.
yes.
What's your favorite class? Subject?
I gotta say, science and PE.
Science and PE. You like science, you like PE. I'm guessing, and this is just a guess, but you interested in like medical stuff like when you get older? Oh,
No.
okay. Well, never mind.
I want to be a soccer player when I grow up.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
you like
yeah.
soccer. When did you start playing soccer?
I started last year, but then I stopped. I want to be a striker when I grow up.
I think you will. I think you
Yeah,
will.
because I can kick pretty hard.
Really? That's what
Yeah.
it takes. It's power and confidence.
Agility,
Oh, and
speed.
yeah, and speed. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
so I'm
well-
pretty fast.
Oh, okay.
Almost the fastest at my school.
Really? Who's
Yeah.
Who's faster?
Keyshawn, my friend, he's in a different class, but we're both in the same grade.
Do you think you could beat him if you really tried?
I mean, I beat him once in 3rd grade, but now he's really gotten faster because recently he's been playing football, so
Oh, so he's got a little bit of a leg up.
yeah, he's caught up to me.
Do you want to beat him?
Yes.
Okay, so Keyshawn, if you're listening, is this a challenge? No,
no,
not
no.
it's not a challenge. It's
No,
not a challenge.
It's not a challenge.
But you would like a fair competition,
Yes.
maybe one day.
Yeah.
And how much? How?
Until recess ends.
Oh, okay. So that's actually a great transition into today's question. We're talking to people out here in Piedmont Park about if you could have one superpower, what would it be? And I think I have a guess as to what yours would be based on what you just said, but I want to hear what your superpower would be.
My superpower would be super speed.
Super speed.
Yes.
Why? To beat Keyshawn?
Yes.
Okay. Would that be the main motivator? Is that the only reason you want it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's really a
But it's also
revenge
because
thing.
I need more agility.
Okay.
But also super control.
Yeah.
Because I need to be able to control my speed when I run.
Okay. How fast? I mean, ballpark range, miles per hour. How fast would that be?
100, 200 miles per hour, I think I would go.
So about 150.
Yeah, 150.
Okay. That's
Miles
pretty
per
fast.
hour.
I mean,
But Keyshawn goes 200 miles per hour. Almost 2,000 miles per hour.
that's what it feels like when you're
Yeah.
behind him in the race sometimes, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Like, I'm right on his tail when we're racing.
And then you just,
Yeah, I've pretty much beat my whole class and the rest of his class.
so it's all coming
So
down.
it's-
So getting the superpower would really help you out a lot right
Yes,
now.
it would.
Okay.
But if
Well-
he was on this podcast, then he would definitely also say super speed.
Oh, yeah. So let me ask you this, like, do you think you would use your powers for good or evil?
Good.
Okay, but it sounds like you're on a personal revenge mission to beat Keyshawn.
No. Well, it's not like revenge. It's more like competition racing thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's more to have your name on that leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Because in PE, we're doing a relay race someday. That's what our PE coach said.
Okay. Let me know if they sell tickets. I want to see the race between Keyshawn
Oh, no,
and
it's
you.
in the gym.
Oh, okay. But
Relay race.
I still would want. I don't know if they just let random people into elementary schools, but
No.
if they do, I would love to be there.
If you were interviewing there, then
If you can get me
Naturally,
connected,
when you're
I'll,
asking random strangers to create a superhero alter ego, the concept of good and evil seems to organically come up a lot in the conversation. What really surprised me the most, and seemed to be a common theme throughout all the conversations I had, was how many people didn't really have an answer to the question I assumed would be simple. Do you consider yourself a hero or a villain? With that in mind, our next guest introduces her superpower of choice that, if I had to guess, every single person on planet Earth has fantasized about having at least once. If you're a fan of early 2000s Adam Sandler movies, then you already know what superpower in the form of a remote control I'm hinting at. All right, so welcome to the Normal Person Podcast. Who am I talking to?
Patti.
Patty.
Yes.
Patty, what brings you? So you're out here today with
Hortensia.
Hortensia and then Spider-Man.
Khalil, her grandson.
So did y'all come for the art festival?
Yes.
Awesome. What'd y'all think of it? We haven't been up
We
there yet.
liked it. It's a lot of art out here. I mean, a lot of talent
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
talented.
Yeah. Are
Yes.
y'all from Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How long have you been here?
I've been here. I'm not sure about her, but I've been here since '86.
Okay.
So I'm
Okay.
from Boston.
Wow. So you've seen a lot of transformation. You said you're from
Yes.
Boston?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. It's weird. I've talked to a lot of Boston transplants on this podcast. It seems
Yes.
like a common
Very.
thing. Okay. So comparison, which city's better?
I would say overall Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have been to Boston. I can confirm that it's beautiful. And,
In the summer.
But I will disagree and say that I like Atlanta better, but it's all a matter of opinion.
Right.
you
They
know?
both have their pros and cons.
Yeah. I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Nashville.
Oh, okay.
But compared to Nashville, I think Atlanta's better.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess I will jump in. I got to know you a little bit, but I want to jump into the question, give you enough time to answer it, because it is one of those questions that we could probably talk about it for an hour if we wanted to. But if you could have any superpower, one single one, this isn't at the X-Men universe. It's like you can only pick one. What would it be and why?
Freeze time.
Freeze time.
Yeah, I like to freeze
Okay.
time.
Okay, so in what way? Like the movie Click, where it's like you stop it, or is it this a power that you like?
You mean how I would actually
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it?
Like, have you ever thought about it before?
No.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just thought about it just now.
I guess the reason I ask is because, like in Click, he can like freeze. You know what I'm talking about? The movie.
No, I've never
Click?
seen the movie.
It's a like Adam Sandler movie from the early 2000s, but he buys this remote at Best Buy that like has the ability to freeze time, but it also can like fast forward, rewind,
That
skip
one.
ahead. Okay.
That'd be
Okay.
cool.
Okay. So let's say you did have this remote.
Uh-huh.
Hour one of having this new superpower, what would you
God.
do? What would you do?
I can rewind time. I would rewind it
To where?
to, like, you want to know, it's like a situation or like a year or both. Like, I would probably go back. If I could go back, God, like 30, 40 years, I'd go back. Oh, yeah.
What would you want to do?
I'd just change some things,
Okay.
like that I've done or wish I had done, that kind of thing.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it would be kind of
And
like...
go back and see people that are no longer here.
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
kind of thing.
That would be cool.
Yes, that'd be very cool.
You said something that's interesting. You said you would change some things, like...
Oh, God, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yeah, what is like the number one thing you would change?
I think one of the things I would change is I would change the fact that I didn't go to college.
Oh, okay.
I would change that.
Okay.
I think, honestly, I would change moving to Atlanta. Because that wasn't my choice. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think I would change that.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of stuff I would change, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of give yourself, just to see
Just kind of do a few things,
differently.
redo. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And in your daily life, could you see yourself using it in any way?
Yeah. I would use it all the time. I mean, to get out of like uncomfortable situation. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if someone asked me a question
Yeah.
and I didn't know the answer, freeze time. Okay, here you go. Then I would freeze. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would never have an incorrect answer on anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
I've thought about when I was like in college, I used to fantasize about having that remote from that movie.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it and I was like,
I really would become the worst person in the world.
Oh yeah, it would be used for evil.
Yeah, and that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of the last question that I wanted to ask you is like, do you see yourself as a hero or a villain with this power?
Both. I think a little of both.
Okay.
Because I mean, because I would do a lot of good with it, but yeah, I can't lie. Yeah, there would be, that would be total. Yeah, I would be evil.
Yeah.
Especially with people that you don't like. You know, I mean, you are human. You would. Yeah. I don't care who you are. Someone would do something evil.
Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah, they totally Yeah, it would be revenge used at some point.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, hey, it's the truth.
Especially this superpower, because it's like, how could you not?
When you really think about it, it's hard to argue that the power to control time wouldn't bring up a lot of ethical questions. But the one I always wonder is, what happens if you can't unfreeze it? Now, you've already heard his real-life super voice at the top of today's episode, but I'm excited to officially introduce you to our final guest of the day. Not only did he have a superpower that I'm still conceptually trying to wrap my head around, he actually is a real-life superhero that helped save all of our equipment, microphones, and cameras from a sudden flash storm that happened shortly after recording. We barely managed to get our equipment into waterproof containers. Our new friend that you're about to meet stood overhead with an umbrella and kept the entire production dry. In fact, you really wouldn't be hearing today's episode without him. So without further ado, I couldn't think of a better guest to end today's super
A little bit
themed
about
episode.
yourself. What are you doing out here in Piedmont today?
Well, what I'm doing out here in Piedmont Park today? Well, I'm just out here drinking a couple of bruisés and enjoy looking at the people around. I guess they enjoy the sunshine, but I brought my umbrella thinking it was going to rain.
It was
Yeah.
a storm here last night.
Yeah, felt it, but I think I slept through it and I didn't know it was blowing in hard. I saw the clouds come up,
Yeah.
Sometimes the clouds come out the sky, you never know what's going to happen.
No, you don't. Did I already ask you what is your name again? I know I asked you off camera, but just so it's on the recording, what's
Okay.
your name?
Well, my name is Donnie.
Donnie. Donnie, you have the most crispy, dulcet radio voice
Oh, for
I've ever
real?
heard. You been in radio before?
Well, I've never been in radio. I just know how to express myself.
Okay.
Words and tones make different things flow down. How do you like this music? How do you like that music? And also, how do you like the voice?
I love the voice.
Yeah.
I'd actually, after this interview, I'll give you my info if you ever want to do some voiceover work.
Good. That'll help me out in my life. How's about
yes,
that?
yes. All right, so love your energy. Love your pants, too. I don't know if I said
I
that.
appreciate it.
So I'm just going to, usually I have to, sometimes, people are a little stiff, but you're one of those people that, I feel like I could have asked you the question at the beginning. You would have rolled right into it. So let's just jump into it.
Okay,
You want
here
to do
we
it?
go.
Tell me, if you had one single superpower, what would it be?
Oh, come on. Can I say my character?
Well, I'm going to get to that, but I
Well,
want to
anyway, that would be infinity.
Infinity. What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, infinity?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Wow. There's no such thing as time. It's infinity.
Right.
You could go and do and move wherever you want, through any universe, through any galaxy, or any planet. You're infinity. You forever.
Okay. So you never die.
You live it.
Okay. So infinity, you mean, and you live infinity, or you are infinity?
You are infinity.
Or maybe me asking that question shows that I don't understand.
No, you are infinity.
Okay.
It's like when you grab two mirrors together,
Yeah.
you look on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
There's no stopping.
Don't you feel like in some ways we all are infinity? We come from stardust and
Very good you asked that question, because I've been learning more about spirituality and everything, and that's what we are. We are made up of atoms, different atoms and material. You are what you eat, but some atoms that you eat and put inside your body can overtake it and use it.
kind of sounds like your superpower is a little bit like a god in a lot of ways.
Well,
All
those that were gods called themselves gods to stop people from knowing the one that created them.
That's
'Cause
true.
they wanted to feel like,
They were special.
yeah.
That's true.
Even when people are performing, they like In praise, yeah. Some
Yeah.
famous, oh, yeah, do you know who you're talking to?
Right.
Praise, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's say you're granted this superpower, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around a little bit, but maybe that's part of the superpower is it doesn't have to make sense. But let's say you're granted this superpower right now. What are you going to do in the first hour of having it?
First hour.
Yeah.
Woo. Go to the future.
Okay. Where in the future?
Well, 3,000 years above the line. See what goes on the planet Earth.
What do you think? What do you think would happen? And well, I guess that's what you'd find out.
Yeah, and what I would find out that probably people living more different. I know cars probably be flying or people be flying.
Yeah. Or people will
3,000
be...
years in the future, you don't need cars.
No.
You're flying
Hopefully
yourself.
not. I mean, I'm hoping in 3,000 years in the future, I can just upload myself into
Yeah,
a
no
computer.
transportation.
Yeah.
You just think about it, and you're
And
there.
You're there. Wow. And we're all we all have superpowers, technically. Okay, so first thing you would do is travel to the future.
Go to the future.
What's the second thing you'd do?
Then come back to my time, and once you see the future, you can warn them if it's looking good or bad. It's like a forewarning.
I think you would do well. I believe you. But I feel like people, if you say I went 3,000 years in the future, people are going to be like, eh.
Well, I tell you what, the first thing you got to do when you do something like that, you will have to get in touch with who? The higher powers.
That's
the first
true.
one, the presidents around the world. Mm-hmm. Or the dictators or whatever.
How would you prove that you went to the future?
Because I would just, whoop,
That's true.
walk into their room.
That's true.
Walk into the White House and like, oop, hold on, I got a message for you.
That's true. I mean, you are infinity, so
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah.
If they pull guns, whoop, pop up, then meet him at his house. Hey, I got a message for you.
No, you go to his deathbed and meet him again. Travel to the
not his
future.
deathbed. I keep messing with him. I keep seeing this guy. He's everywhere. He's even in my limbo. Hey, yo, don't you know you need to do something very important? Because this is about to go down. Yeah, you got to mess with him. You got to tell some good, and you got to tell some gravy.
Okay. Well, that's actually a perfect tee up to my last question of our interview, and I think I'm interested to hear what you got to say. But with this power, would you consider yourself a hero or a villain?
Hero.
And why's that?
Not a villain.
Why's that?
Wouldn't be too.
I mean, you did say you would go back and warn people.
Yeah, go back and warn people. It's all for the benefit of the good.
Okay.
But if you changing the future to what it is, sorry, you got to go.
Do you think, serious question here, do you think with this superpower, do you think you would die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain?
Always remember, the name is what? Infinity. There's no such thing as death.
Okay. I mean, that actually, yeah, you kind of stumped me there.
So
A little
it's kinda like
Uno reverse
Infinity.
card there.
Infinity would be like Star Trek,
Yeah.
New Generation. You remember the Q?
Yeah.
All right, big card. He's the Q. You
Yeah.
can do anything. You send him, whoop, snap a finger, So this is more like infinity.
Okay.
Time doesn't exist. He's infinity.
Right. Yeah. It's actually all coming together now.
Yeah.
It took this whole conversation for me to kind of wrap my head around it, but I think it's because...
And that's a wrap for this week's episode of the Normal Person Podcast, where we've delved into the fantastical world of superpowers with a few everyday normal people. From super speed, invisibility, and the timeless dream of traveling through time, each superpower shared today reflects not only on how imaginative people can be, but also what our deepest desires as humans actually are. As always, I want to give a big shout out to all the remarkable guests turned superheroes on this week's episode. And thank you, listener, for joining us on our 10th episode of the show. Huge milestone. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you aren't already following us on social media, check out the show notes where you can follow us on your platform of choice. Till next time, may you find inspiration in the stories and dreams we all share as normal people. This is Kelly Boston, signing off. We'll see you next week.